Hi everyone, today we are going to continue our learning about employment. For this chapter, our course targets are learning a job search model to help us understand the fluctuation of job finding rate. And to understand the model, we also introduce the concept of reservation wage. And then we are going to combine the model to help us to understand the relationship between our employment and business cycles. First, for a job searching model, we consider the job searching process. In the job searching process, for every unemployed worker, he's going to encounter some job offer from a pool of possible job offers. So when there's accidentally something will happen that he can bump into certain job offer. For example, he bumped into this one that offered him a wage rate of W3 divided by P. And then he will look at the job wage and decide whether he wants to accept the job or not. He might think that the wage is too low, therefore he will reject the job. And he will continue to search for a job opportunity. Then occasionally he bumps into another possible job offer. This job offered him the wage rate W1 over P. And then he probably would still think the wage rate is too low and he still rejects the job. And then the searching process continues and he bumps into another possible job offer that offers a wage rate W4 over P. And finally he would say that, okay, I accept the job. So in this case, he turned his status from being unemployed to being employed. Then what is the probability, phi, of changing his status from unemployed to employed? Phi here means the job finding rate. To understand this, we already observed from the job searching process, we know that this probability is determined by two things. One is that the probability that an unemployed worker is going to bump into a potential job offer. We call this probability of obtaining a job offer H. And then secondly, when he bumps into a potential job offer, he will be able to see the wage rate and the probability that he is going to accept it. And we use Q to denote the chance of accepting a job offer. Therefore, job finding rate is determined by the probability of obtaining an offer H times the probability of him accepting an offer. Now we focus on understanding the probability of accepting a job offer. To understand that probability, we have to learn the concept of reservation wage. Whenever an unemployed worker bumps into a possible job offer, when he rejects the job saying that the wage rate is too low, basically, too low means that he's comparing this job offer wage rate W3 over P with some kind of reservation wage threshold. We denote it as W star over P. So whenever the wage offer is lower than that reservation threshold, then it means it's too low for him. Therefore, he will reject the job. So there are so many different jobs that can possibly be offered to the unemployed worker. And different jobs have different wage rate. Therefore, we will see that there is some kind of wage distribution of all job vacancies. And then for any unemployed worker, he has some kind of threshold in mind. With this threshold, if he bumps into the job vacancy that has a job wage rate offer on the left of the wage distribution, then he would reject the job. And for any job vacancy that can offer a wage rate higher than that threshold, then he would accept the job. Therefore, given the wage distribution, the probability he would accept a job from the pool would be described by this shaded right tail area. And this would be the job accepting probability. Then the question would be that what determines the reservation wage rate W star over P? Intuitively, this threshold would be high if the unemployment benefit is high. Here, the unemployment benefit can refer to the benefit from government or the benefit that your family is going to give you. when the benefit is high, of course, you will not accept a low wage job offer. You will be more picky about job. And the other possibility is that when the job market is prosperous, then you know that there are a lot of good paid jobs. Therefore, you definitely will set a higher bar for accepting a job. Now we are ready to apply our understanding of job finding rate to explain the fluctuation between unemployment and business cycle. And for the business cycle, we consider supply-side driven business cycles, which means that it is the firm owner, suddenly something happened that he decides to hire more workers. In this case, he wants to hire more labor input. He can either decide to demand the current employee to work for longer hours, and also he can decide to hire more workers. So for the part of hiring more workers, it would create more job vacancies. If there are more job vacancies, then automatically it would increase the chance of a person obtaining a job offer H. That's why we will see from the data whenever the real output productivity goes up, then the help wanted index will go up. This index meaning how many job vacancies is available in the market. So it is cyclical from the theory that we just presented. And in addition to that, when he decides to hire more workers, which usually means that he not only create more vacancy, also he would offer higher wages in order to attract potential worker to apply for a job. In this case, what we see is that there would be a shift of wage distribution from left to the right. And with this shift of wage distribution, an unemployed worker would detect that the market is prosperous. In this sense that he would know that he probably should raise his bar of job acceptance, which means that he should raise his reservation wage rate. So, but how much the reservation wage rate should increase? It would affect whether the job accepting probability would go up or down. The Q before, meaning the job accepting probability before, and Q after is the job accepting probability after. So the question is that after the supply side driven business cycle that push up the distribution of wage, then at the same time the job reservation wage rate also goes up. Will the Q after the accepting probability go up than before? To understand that, we have to know that business cycles are temporary. So let the black distribution represent a normal time wage rate distribution. So when economic is booming, there will be a shift to the right, and then it will come back because any kind of deviation from normal times is temporary. So when business cycle move to a temporary good times, the potential unemployed worker who is looking for a job, he would know that this good time is a temporary thing. Therefore, he would try to seize a chance to get a better paid job during the temporary good time. So in order to seize the chance, he would raise his reservation wage rate, but he will not increase it too much. He cannot be too picky, otherwise he will miss the chance of getting a good job during this good time. Therefore, we will see that the reservation wage rate moves to the right, but not as much as the whole distribution. That's why Q after normally would be larger than Q before. So what we have now is that when the business cycle is in its good time, more job vacancy will be created. This would increase the chance of obtaining a job offer H. At the same time, wage distribution will shift to the right. However, the reservation wage will increase, but not too much. That's why the chance of accepting a job Q, which is Q after, will be higher than before. So together, we know that the job finding probability would go up from both the increasing chance of obtaining a job offer and the increasing chance of accepting a job. Based on our theory, we know that when economics is booming so that the GDP is going up, then the job finding rate will be higher. That's why we see that the employment rate will also goes up. Then its implied employment rate is going to be procyclical. Of course, this would represent that our employment rate is countercyclical. In addition, we learned from the past that during the good time, our employment rate would drop. At the same time, the job vacancy would go up too. So that's why our help wanted index is a negative relation with the unemployment rate, as figure 9.15 shows.